Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you're doing well out there. This is a grumpy old guy gaming, and we're back with more Wizardry, because it is 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Kind of a rainy Sunday morning, too, and I didn't have to look outside, and I didn't have to listen for the raindrops on that. I just couldn't get my backside out of bed. Very tough to wake up for me on rainy days, just the way I'm wired. But we're here, and we're here on time. Just taking a look through. We've got a couple transfer potions. We've got an antidote in reserve, and a ninja's hood for your spell making needs. So, if you're back after a little while, Daniel, the Hobbit thief, that was giving us sort of a playful back and forth throughout the lower levels of the dungeon, somewhat reluctantly offered his services to us, and we somewhat selfishly pressed him into service, and may have changed him into a samurai via a magic item. So we now have a ninja, a samurai, and a warrior, a very strong front line, and a bishop, a thief, and a priest in the back row. Rui, of course, being a former sorcerer herself, now with some priest spells added in. So let's head into the labyrinth, and instead of taking our now usual shortcut down to the 5th level, let's go ahead and beat around the 1st level a bit, see if we've got any new progress on anything. We are going to make our way down to the 5th level here not too long after. Just kind of want to touch base on things here. We do have a couple things that need updating, and of course we have a bogey cat that needs fought. It's going to be in the back row, though. 2 slimes, and they're friendly, so we'll just let it be. And I'm kind of hoping if we have enough encounters like that, it may change the alignment of Daniel on his own. Of course, there's nothing terrible with Daniel being an evil samurai in a mostly good to neutral party. He's just having a philosophical difference with us. Absolutely nobody's going to object to us rushing these 5 slimes. And with our leveling and our 6th member, you could see our damage is up all the way to 43. Let's go ahead and open this treasure chest. Probably just some slimes goo. There we are. There is... I want to say her name is Helga. It's either Helga or Megan's room. I'm bad with names. You'd think I would have checked beforehand. More slimes down. Well, she's in our quest list, so we can check that rather quickly. After this chest, of course. More slimes goo. So if we look at our quest confirmation, yeah, it's Helga. She still needs that hound's ear. Haven't tracked it down yet. We've also been asked to have one of our party members die and have the resurrect fail so they're turned into ashes. That's by Maria, the girl who previously we met at the guild, who was unsure of what allied actions were, and then asked us to get paralyzed so she could cure the paralysis. We also have this quest from a client named Palo. Says, someone disrupts my sleep. Will you find that someone? He's somewhere in the labyrinth, and he looks just like me. So we've got a couple unique quests to check out. Kind of just making our way around there. Seems like that walkway is always sort of crowded. So we didn't get so lucky to dodge this one, and that's okay. We're going to end lash there. Just for the heck of it. Let's try a jump attack on the bogey cat. That'll let us reach right to the back row if need be. And then have Rui and Sarah just attack like normal. Rui, of course, getting the first attack off. Kyo high in the air for the jump attack. I don't think it's going to come down to it, but it'll be there. Yeah, we never do get to the jump attack. That end lash just dealing the damage. Let's see if we pick up some bogey cat fur here. Nope. Get some slime's goo and a transfer potion. Certainly not upset to see the transfer potion. Not really upset to see the slime's goo either. Harpy and some orcs. Just make it through here. I'm still not 100% on us rushing a bogey cat. But just about everything else in this first level we should handle fairly easily. Loading us up with treasure here. We get an axe. Let's hand that over to Agog. Resident appraisal expert. Just a hand axe. Nothing special. Let's head into the Imperial quarters. They say the Queen is missing, so we certainly didn't expect to see her there. Turns out there is nobody here. Not even Ledois. One more place I want to check before wheeling back. Let's try a stun attack with Daniel, and then a gratuitous damage double slash with Kyo and Ricardo. Stun attack hits and paralyzes. Also does a good bit of damage at 56, so this is going to be... That was just a sickening amount of damage. Seago, how you doing? Did I play the King's Field games at all? No, I haven't. Are they dungeon crawlers as well? King's Field. Let me look that up real quick. From Software, known for its brooding atmosphere on labyrinths. That sounds fun. Thank you to CEO. I'm probably going to check those out at some point. That looks like a ton of fun. Said I played King's Field 4, their first-person RPGs, less dungeon crawlers, more adventure games, made from FromSoft. I think they're like Shadow Tower. Oh, alright. Yeah, I'll have to give that a look sometime. Thank you for the recommendation. Coming up to our next series of traps in the Goths line. This one's going to cost us 3,000 to check, and we're going to get a set of set of potions here. Transfer, a healing, a curing potion, and an antidote. Probably level 3 is about the time that these traps start feeling like they're worth testing. Unfortunately, you have to pass that test 30 times. And that's just unfair to put anyone through, so I'm probably going to go back and do this off camera. But for now, I'm just not going to. Gotts, of course, isn't very upset by that. He's just a little disappointed in us, and can you blame him? We walked all that way and just said no. When you get to about the 8th or 9th thing, you have to disarm them, 80 times. I usually end up messing up just due to boredom. Here we've got a pixie and some orcs. Just rush through those real quick, and we'll make our way to the 5th level. Start hunting for that hound's ear. Through there as well. Of course, level 1 battles are feeling a little tedious, but we are building up some trust with our new party member. That'll help us get access to some new allied actions. Should have a pretty clear path through to the 5th now. Do you purposely not capture game audio? Actually, I do leave it really quiet, but I'm guessing that means it's not coming through. Give me a second, see if I can't fix that. So hopefully that's coming through a little. I do know sometimes when I switch between my RetroArch setup and the and PCSX2 here, the audio does get a bit screwy. Coming up on some friendly gargoyles and mages, more than happy to let that be. It's really the gaze hounds I'm after at the moment. Really want that hound's ear so I can turn the quest in. Here's an earth giant, once imposing, now just another enemy. So, Seago, you mentioned Kingsfield 4. What are some other games you've enjoyed playing? Well, that battle was over before it started. I tried for a stun attack, and Daniel got a kill shot. Our new samurai already making an impression. 3 shades and 3 gargoyles. This is going to be kind of fun, because now Rui and Daniel don't have magic weapons. Actually, I know exactly the way to handle that. Let's have Daniel do a jump attack on a gargoyle. Oh yeah, that's right. Having anyone in the back row do that cancels the assisted shot. Okay. In that case, what we'll do is assisted shot. Psyops, the Mindgate Conspiracy is another great PS2 game. Third-person shooter with a focus on psychic powers. I want to say I remember seeing a review of that game. That was years ago. That would be a fun one to play. PS2 had a lot of just amazing action titles. And even the ones that weren't amazing were still a good time. I have to track down a copy of 13 sometime. I've never been the best at the first-person shooter, but that was one my buddies and I played a bunch. Psyops, the Mindgate Conspiracy. Well, shoot, thank you for stopping by. I'm getting all sorts of awesome game suggestions today. Individual action. Let's have Kyo attack a shade. We're going to use that sort of exploit to have Daniel target a gargoyle with a fire spell and then switch him to an attack. Oh, would you look at that? Daniel is going to be first off for us in combat. Kyo with a petrify. Always neat to see the shades get petrified and then they just drop. So now with the full party, we get a bit of extra damage out of our assisted shots. We'll let Kyo and Ricardo hit for some predictably high damage, and Daniel, we'll just bank on the home run with him. He has that potential for a kill shot. We'll see if it ever comes through. The first person getting attacked animations, yeah. Especially when you're up against enemies that can one-shot you, and then they just, like the Ninja Converge attacks are the worst. Switch things up a little bit here. We'll put Daniel on the double slash and let Kyo go solo here. Kyo finishes off the left side gargoyle. And Daniel and Ricardo end the combat. We got a skull. I'm just going to assume that it was sort of being carried around by one of the shades. There are some spiders. That is that empty room. Making our way down and seeing all sorts of fun approaching. We get a couple ninjas, a minor daimyo, and a bishop in the back row. Well, we know how we're taking care of the bishop. Just gonna go ahead and end lash with... Yeah, let's have Daniel and Ricardo do it. Assisted options, we will restrict shot with... Who do we want to restrict shot here? We'll restrict shot with Agog and Sarah, and we'll protect Daniel and Ricardo. Daniel, of course, only 54 hit points as he's been hit once already. By far and away our lowest total. We'll have Kyo attack the minor daimyo there. Rui's also going to hold on to her spells for now, and she's going to provide a little bit of support on that level 8 bishop, just in case the end lash doesn't get the job done. End lash more than satisfactory, though. Rui misses her attack on the ninja. That is to be expected. Restrict shot doesn't miss, though. Ninjas predictably go after the right and middle of our front line. Minor daimyo also targets Ricardo, so the restrict shot paying dividends there. See if we can't throw a little silly damage this minor daimyo's way for the privilege of sticking around for round 2. Yep, we've got him stunned, and this should hit for double damage. See, well up into the hundreds on each of those strikes. And we find a robe. Probably the least exciting treasure we've found thus far. Every time I find one of these, it's just a base robe. There was that one Megas' robe, as evidenced by Agog's equipment. And now we have 2. So huzzah for us. Turns out the Megas' robe would be slightly better than the Megas' armor. So we'll go ahead and give that to Rui. That's a bit of a head scratcher how a robe's got more defensive protection than leather armor, but it's a Megas item, so we could just say enchantments on that. Okay, assisted shots, individual actions. And Daniel drops a gargoyle. Didn't quite finish off that final shade with the restrict shot. Models in this game are really good. Yeah, it's and just wait till we get to some of the lower levels. Some of them look a little cartoony. I will say the monster design and really the overall art style in this game really appealed to me the first time I saw it. I don't know if you've looked back at any of the previous entries, but a lot of the still screens where you're interacting with the NPCs, it has an art style that's really not too far off the art you would find in the Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 edition games. It's got similar line work, and the color palette is, it's nice and it's vibrant, but it's not like hyper intense. It's got a more subdued quality to it. And they really came out at about the same time. Third edition D&D dropped, I think, 98 or 99, and this game came out in 2001. Sorry, I'm rambling here. I should be fighting. Daniel and Ricardo, since we know that Daniel and Ricardo can drop a gargoyle on a double slash, let Keo try and work his magic. And by that I mean miss the first strike. Art style is somewhat similar in King's Field 4. See, he already sold me on the game, and now that's one more. Map looks similar too, huh? Okay. Yeah, it's not getting up from 220. And again, we have to find a way to drain that. Here are a couple wyverns. I honestly forgot were wyverns the last time I ran into them and just kept referring to them as dinosaur things. I don't want to go about it that way. Let's try stunning a wyvern, and we'll try double slashing the other. Saving the spells, because level 5 is also about the time you run into some really, really bizarre groupings of enemies, and when you're up against, well, the double slash more than enough on one hit apiece. When you're up against multiple bishops or just all the zombies in the world and a priestess, having that magical power on hand, so needed. Need to get into games like Wizardry to satisfy my traditional D&D style fantasy needs? I hear you there. I would say one probably fed another for me in my teenage years. Not so much this game. This was sort of its own thing, but the very first Wizardry. I remember my buddy sold me the NES cartridge when he was cleaning out his old games collection. And I played that like crazy, and just seeing some of the things they would do with monster groupings and level design, I'd go out and get myself a graph paper notebook, and the next thing I knew, I had 4 levels of dungeon and just had to get the guys together and play a few weeks. Those were days. Let's see here. What else could we do instead of the same old attack? Well, might as well go with the same old attack. Actually, just get through this as pretty high evasion for that wyvern. Well, up until Ricardo hits him once. We get a wyvern's eyeball that looks suspiciously like a green grape. Now we got a big old line of spiders. And this is where the spells will start coming in. Let's do a sweep attack to soften them up. Don't want to use anything too powerful. We kind of want to hold on to those. We'll throw a couple Zatiels out there. And just have Sarah attack. Save that priest healing magic for emergency situations. Got a critical. Rui already dropped a spider. Looks like just 2 huge spiders remaining for Agog's Zatiel. Barring a barrier, that should be more than enough to finish it. Even with a fumble for half damage, we got through. That's 2,303 more experience. And this whole time, Sarah has been inching closer and closer to her next level. Get a cocoon out of that. I feel like this room is really important, but I have yet to find the reason why. It's one of those deals in this game where one thing is going to lead to another that will eventually show the item. For the longest time, we were stuck in the top half of the 5th floor here until I could get a carcass stone together. And that was just the game's subtle way of telling us, hey, you need to be able to res a party member by now. I'm going to go ahead and have Rui unlock this chest as our resident thief. Should give us a bit easier time with the button combination. Nice and easy 5-button combo there. And we pick up a healing potion. Not too much use holding on to that at the moment, so we'll go ahead and use it on Daniel. Nothing unusual. You know, I don't think I noticed that before. That spider totally just dropped out of a hole in the ground. Offensive action, we have an end lash situation with one caster in the back. Let's put Daniel and Ricardo on that. And then we'll go individual actions here. Have Keo throw some Zatiel. Agog throw some Zakrita. And let's see if Rui can soften up the spiders with a sleep spell. Just in case the end lash isn't enough, we'll have Sarah follow up with a crossbow bolt. Yep, Rui 100% on that sleep check. And then we go ahead and wake them all back up. Well, the mage is down, so we don't have to worry about any huge damage coming from him. Agog's going to go ahead and give these spiders a case of the old hotfoot. Zakrita more than enough to finish the job. Picked up a sorcerer's earring, so that fell from right up there. Okay. Nothing unusual there. So if we head up, I think that's right about the spot that rubble is. Yeah. Yeah, that's square right over there. Interesting. So there is a way down in. We just have to find the entrance to that part of the bottom. Last time, we got about as lucky as you can get where our stun attack was a kill shot. I don't expect that this time, but we will try for the stun attack double slash combo. Stun will hold the giant in place for a round and ensure that the double slash hits for double damage. Well, that was about as good as it can possibly get. We had double damage, we got a critical, and we got a kill shot. And we pick up a Discord stone. I forget what Discord is. Increase the agility of a whole party. We'll hold on to that for now. It's a level 4 priest spell. Decent chance if we break it open in town, it's got a fairly rare spell component to it. And that's what we would be after more than anything else. Just on the other side of that bridge. Got a trapped chest there. That is tantalizingly close. Okay. Doorway over here. Right. Gotcha. Takes me a moment sometimes. That's just a room. Duck in here, see if this giant's going to be nice enough to just walk by. Don't think this place is... Well, before we find out whether or not it's anything special, we get to say hi to a whole ton of casters. With a surprise round. Ooh, a Sabarets. That was a ton of damage thrown to Daniel. And another one. Daniel is down. Not the best news for us, but at the same time... Ooh, that's really bad. Now Sarah's getting attacked. Rui up to the front row. Silver linings, I suppose, if it could be said, is that if the resurrect attempt is failed on Daniel, we'd have someone in ashes and we could get back to town and finish Maria's quest. In the meantime, we got to get through this. And, that may take a bit of work. How do we want to go about this? I feel like an end lash is probably the best call with Rui and Ricardo. Let's have Kyo just attack a level 5 priestess. Agog's gonna throw a Jakrita out there. And Sarah... What is Sarah going to do? Is a muck a line spell? Yeah. Okay, so Sarah's going to cast a muck and make sure we take care of those bishops. One priestess goes down on the combination of the end lash and Kyo's attack. Throw Jakrita out. The hope is that this takes care of the bishops at least, but there's no guarantee on that. Sure enough, one remains standing. And that means that Sarah's going to go ahead and finish the job with an amok. Even with the resist, that's more than enough for lethal damage, and I liked the added effect of those blades seemingly going out that doorway in the back. It's going to be enough to level Sarah. Of course, Daniel doesn't get any experience from, dying. Let's see if Sarah can possibly revive Daniel here with the Resurrect. Yep, she is successful. We're not sad about that at all. Having the ashes come up would have actually advanced our quest, but I'm happier to have our party member back. Go ahead, alter our formation. So even though we were pretty well steamrolling everything, just one surprise round more than enough to throw us off there. Have Agog use a fields to get the front row back up, and then a couple field spells on Daniel and Sarah respectively. That puts us in a good enough position, I would think. Walking back this way. Just seems to be a doorway to another doorway. Often the case in this game. More spiders. Level 5 is not kind to arachnophobiacs, I will say that. Try that sweep attack again. Again, just piling damage on that front row. This time we'll have Agog try out his new level 5 spell, Zacold, on the front row. Have Rui, she'll cast a Jacrita. And just to see if it'll work, we'll try a strain spell on the back row by Sarah. Well, our thief just about wiped the entire combat with that Jacrita. Advantages of having a thief convert from the sorcerer class, I suppose. There's 5,000 experience to get Daniel back on track. And as we're getting all this experience, it looks like Keo may just level up this session as well. Looks like we've got... Okay, that's our shortcut back to level 1. And now we finally found our first encounter with the monster I came down here for, the Gazehound. So we are going to go ahead and have Daniel do that jump attack, and then we're going to go ahead and let Keo and Ricardo double slash. Just some base attacks on the Gazehound by Agog and Sarah. This thing's typically resistant to status effects, so things like the stun attack or the strain spell, not the most useful. Big double slash for 220 points. Gazehound's still standing, and we'll lock Ricardo in place with that gaze attack. 42 damage on the jump attack by Daniel, still not enough. So we'll go ahead, double slash there. And just in case, the Gazehound has any ideas on attacking an immobilized Ricardo, we'll throw a restrict shot out there. I think this double slash should do the job, though. Yeah. Little over 100 extra, and the battle is won. 1750 to the good guys. No treasure chest, which means no Hound's Ear, and our search continues. Do find a random treasure chest just kind of sitting for us, though. And it is well, it is a throwing knife. I suppose I shouldn't assume a poison throwing knife. Hopefully something of the enchanted or magical variety, so we can go ahead and give that to Rui. Nope, just a throwing knife. Plain old throwing knife. Not a terrible pickup. It sells for money. No chance of avoiding that encounter. 3 shades and 3 priestesses. Interesting options here. Let's go with a spell cancel. Have individual actions, just have the fighters attack. Well, we won't waste Daniel's time because he doesn't have a magic weapon, and magic weapons are the only things that could drop undead. Magic weapons or spell damage. So we'll have Daniel attack a priestess. Leaves 1 shade outlying. And we'll hope that a Jakrita can finish the job there. Daniel more than able to drop a priestess. If we could drop one more, that means that spell cancel is going to completely lock up any ability for us to take spell damage this round. Or maybe a Gog's Jakrita will be more than enough to just deck the entire combat. Not sad about that in the least. Looks like we've got that nefarious party back with 2 ninjas, a bishop, and a minor daimyo. And lash. Restrict shot. Attack the daimyo, and attack the daimyo. Yeah, that bishop is not a threat as soon as we choose End Lash. And Kyo petrifies the samurai, so we're down to 2 wounded ninjas against a restrict shot. Worked out as well as we hoped it would, and we one round a pretty formidable group of NPCs. Get enough for Kyo's level up at the very least. So even if we're not 100% successful on any of our bigger goals, we are still advancing the party. One more giant battle. And this one's going to at least live past the first round. Still stunned. So we'll switch that. We'll switch the stun attack to a jump attack. I don't think it'll come to that. I think this double slash will do the job. And down the giant goes. Pick up something of the battle axe variety. You can get hand axes and 2-handed axes in this game. 2 different weapons, weapon categories. So let's see what this one has to offer. It is a slashing battle axe. Easier to use and with higher accuracy. Also not magical. Certainly not worth trading in any of our other stuff. So now I have to wonder if it's a quest holding us up, or if we're just not getting very lucky on these attempts. Here we've got a warrior, 2 ninjas, and a priestess. Similar to the bishop, daimyo, and ninjas encounter, just at a slightly lower overall level. So we'll go with the same tactics. Have Kyo and Rui attack the level 7 warrior, as they both have status effects that could end that particular phase of the combat in one strike. Ooh, ninja's getting a little crafty, throwing the ninja stars instead of attacking outright. Warrior, however, does eat that restrict shot right to the face. Try one more end lash. And we'll go with a hold attack on the warrior. Have absolutely no fear that the end lash won't finish off the ninjas. Kyo's hold attack takes down the warrior. And the ninjas drop in tandem. It is an all-you-can-fight zombie buffet with a priestess here, and I do believe this is going to be our last round. So let's try something a little bit different. Let's go with a spell cancel. We'll have Agog and Rui do that. Try a sweep attack by the front row just to see what damage that'll do. And just for giggles, we'll have Sarah try and dispel the zombies. Actually, some pretty decent damage. We did have a miss, but 44 damage apiece on those zombies. Spell cancel, cutting off that priestess before she could fire off, and more than enough to drop her. Well, we get rid of 3 of the zombies via dispel, and the rest just sort of hang out. Nothing runs away. 3 misses by the zombies. Now they move all up to the front row. And we'll get back to our regular mode of attack on these, just assisted shot and individual attacks to spread that damage out. Daniel, of course, non-magical weapon, not going to be hurting the undead. Technically, it can damage them, it just can't finish them off the way this game works. As you could see, Rui also doesn't have a magical weapon at the moment, and against the wounded zombies she was hitting, but for a stock 0 damage. So we're coming up on an hour here. Same combat as before. Yeah, we'll try the sweep attack again. It wasn't a terrible idea. See if we get a little better result out of the dispel this time. Oh, we got a slightly better result out of the line attack. No miss there. Also not missing, that spell cancel. Very potent dispel there. Kills 5, makes 1 run away. Now just 1 little zombie left. We'll just double slash it. Daniel sets it up. Rui again doing 0 damage. All we needed was one hit out of that, and we got 380 damage. Okay, this is that breakaway wall we keep running into. Fantastic. One more try for the Gaze Hound here. Hopefully we get that Hound's Ear. If we do, we'll stick around a little bit and show the quest completion, and if not, well, we had a good run at it. Offensive action. Get Daniel out of the way. And since this is going to be it, let's go ahead and throw some spells here. Let's see what Zacold looks like. Priest spell, we'll just throw Barrett's out. Barrett's is like a level 1 harm spell. Decent damage out of that double slash. We did have a miss, though. You can see when the Gaze Hound attacks, that's on Keo with a rather high defensive rating and very high evasion. Still did 34 damage. Agog tried to hit with that Zacold spell, and it was a barrier. It outright did no damage. Got 29 out of the Barretts, and a decent jump attack from Daniel. If it gets around to casting, we'll make sure our ninja is back up to full health. Don't think it'll get past the double slash, though. Nope. That time everything hits well. 220 damage later, the Gaze Hound is fallen. Let's see if it dropped anything. Nope. Let's go ahead and transfer potion back to town. Been a pretty fun stream today. We got to check out a couple cool things. Definitely want to thank Seago for stopping by. Had a wonderful gaming chat with you. Gonna drop into the lodgings now, get our rest, get our spells back, and let a couple level ups happen. Go ahead and finish everything else off camera. In the meantime, if you enjoy this, we try to stream. Ooh, look at that. Keo's just about ready to head up to the next level of trust as he hits level 13 as well. But we try and stream every Sunday morning and every Wednesday morning. Do our best to get a video out every day or so. Hope you all have a wonderful Sunday or whatever day you end up watching this. Take care, and we'll see you around.